Now let's talk about the second advanced technique, grouping SOQL results. Remember, this is the SOQL equivalent of creating a summary report using standard Salesforce reporting, which would look like this. A summary report is useful if you want to group records together and get aggregate information on its group. In this summary report, we group up all our opportunities by stage and calculate aggregate info for each stage like sum, average, max, and min of the opportunity amounts. You can do a similar query in SOQL. We begin with a basic query on opportunities. The goal is to find the sum of amounts for opportunities grouped by their stage, just like in the summary report. Let's add the group by keyword to our query. It goes after our where clause and accepts a field name as the field we want to group on. This step is equivalent to grouping our Salesforce report, but not choosing any aggregate information to include yet. So far, this query is invalid. SOQL will give an error. To fix it, we need to tell our query what to aggregate. Our query needs to know what field we're aggregating and what kind of aggregation we're doing, whether it's a sum, an average, a maximum, etc. To sum up the amount, we use the sum formula and include the amount field inside its parentheses. Notice also that I removed all fields we were querying except for the stage name. Once you use the group by keyword, you can no longer include any fields that aren't an aggregate function, with the exception of the field you're actually grouping by. So I can include stage name, but I can't include any other opportunity field unless it's part of an aggregate formula. We now have a valid SOQL query. This is how it appears in Workbench. We can add other aggregate formulas too to our query like this. Each formula doesn't have to aggregate the same field. You can even aggregate date fields too. The count formula at the bottom counts the number of records that have their amount field populated. SOQL is flexible, so you can even aggregate parent object fields. And if you ever want to get a count of all records in a group, you can count the ID field. Congratulations, Private! You've passed the training portion of the SOQL bootcamp. But before you graduate, you need to get your hands dirty and pass the upcoming test.